बेचारा में तो पोस्ट नहीं है लीगल रजिस्ट्री वाला
भेजा है
भाई तो भगवान बैठे हैं लोग के भाई को विपत्ति बांटने के लिए भाई है काम करता है संपत्ति बांटने
ये बात है बहुत अच्छा बना हुआ था थोड़ा
बड़ी में बोले ना वही पर थी ना तो सी में इतना बड़ी हुआ
भाषा का पड़ेगा
तेईस है ना 10 नहीं कर पैसे का महीना 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28
Good evening. Can I have a quick check on my audio and video?
6 दिन अच्छा 6 दिन 6 दिन उसके बाद 6, 5, 11 पूरे 5 दिन
जमुना देखिए संकोच नहीं कीजिए हो गया अरे के आज हमने पहले तो बिनु झलक फिर ये हो गया
Clear my audio.
बगल में ये तो उससे बोला हिसाब से होता है चाटो बुलाना उसमें ये तो बात क्या है किसी को जानकारी नहीं देना था दूसरा ये मामला है किसी को पता भी नहीं चलना है तो हम बिनु जाएंगे ठीक उसका किसी को वहां बोलना कि आए थे आपके घर पे आए थे वहां ये
Okay, fine. Thank you.
क्या ये जो छुट्टी
तो एक्सपायर कर देना
क्या एज होगा
ये जो कोई 58 नहीं
बस also
दीदी हमसे 2 साल बड़ी मतलब एक परिवार में जो होता है हम लोग का मेरे पापा भी जो पिछले गए थे एकदम पापा जो हम लोग का वो हिसाब था
आलोक कुमार जी आप अपना ऑडियो बंद करें।
बगल में है यहीं पर।
अच्छा
आलोक कुमार
क्या
जी
नाम है बाबू का क्या नाम है और कौन नहीं कौन बोला ये बात ये भी बताइए ना हमको
अर्चना
बुआ से पूछिए कौन बोला ये बात
कुमारी
अच्छा ठीक काय के लिए बोले कारण काय के लिए बोले हैं
Sir,
कारण
the
क्या है
cost of
उससे पूछिए बेटा से
मल्लिक सर
कारण
आपकी
क्या है
आवाज आ रही है। मल्लिक सर आप अगर मेरी बात सुन पा रहे हैं तो कृपया ऑडियो बंद कर दें।
yeah, fine. So I think my audio and my video is perfect. No, is there any issues? Can I have some opinion of that in the chat box, please? Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. So, Dr. Sudhir, can I start the session now?
जस्ट अ मिनट मैम मैं थोड़ा ये कुछ एथिक्स बता दूं जो भी पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं सबसे पहली बात कि जो भी पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं उनका स्वागत है आज की मीटिंग में आज की इस ट्रेनिंग में और हमारी जो गेस्ट हैं वो आप पूरे परिचित हैं डॉक्टर बीनू के राज और कुछ इम्पॉर्टेंट इंस्ट्रक्शंस था वो ये है कि ट्रेनिंग के बीच में कोई भी पार्टिसिपेंट अटेंडेंस लिंक के लिए डिमांड नहीं करेंगे क्योंकि अटेंडेंस मिलने के बाद ऐसा देखा गया है प्रायः कि 50% लोग क्विट कर जाते हैं ट्रेनिंग पूरी नहीं हो पाती है इसलिए आज से हम लोगों ने ये किया है कि नहीं आपको ट्रेनिंग फिनिश होने के बाद ट्रेनिंग एंड होने के बाद ही अटेंडेंस लिंक चैट बॉक्स में भेजा जाएगा। दूसरा है कि आप एनोटेटिंग अलाउड नहीं है आप लोग ऐसा नहीं करें और जो भी इंस्ट्रक्शंस दिया जाता है मैम के द्वारा उसको फॉलो करें। थैंक यू मैम।
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Sudhir, for that decorum what we have to keep, for giving an orientation regarding that decorum we have to follow. Even I was feeling, I think in the last session, right from the starting itself, people started asking for the attendance link. So we have to be here not only for the certificates, but we are here for to learn something, isn't it? To make some changes in the classroom, to be a better teacher, or otherwise what we can say is to have a better version of ourselves. So before I start the session, let me have a small intro. I am Mrs. Binu. I am from Kerala, principal of Sri Sai Vidyapeetham, Trishur. Okay. And I am the resource person of experiential learning, stress management. I take inclusive education. I take multiple intelligence. I do annual pedagogical plan, master trainer of annual pedagogical plan, pedagogical leadership. And I associate with many COEs such as Patna, Pune, and Delhi East and West, and of course, Trivandrum. So here today, the session what we are going to take, the topic here is resilience. How we can develop resilience in students. So before I go to the PowerPoint, I would like to know what do you understand about resilience. See, I would like to tell you all one thing is because my time is also very important. I have just reached from my school. It's such a hectic task being here. And right after 5 o'clock, at 6 o'clock, I have to join another session for CBSE where we are having a training from the University of America, and up to 8:30 we are 5 are selected from all Kerala, and we have to sit there up to 8:30, right from 6 o'clock to 8:30. So this is a time where I have found time for this. I have put into so much of efforts just because I feel that there are passionate group of teachers who want to learn more and more. So that was the experience I got from Araria, Sahodaya, and all those things. Quite good feedback, quite good interaction was there. So I request you all to please interact. Whatever opinions you have or whatever you want to tell, you can put that in the chat box. And when I'm doing my class, I may not check the chat box. Okay, as I will be going for with a full view mode. But after the class, I will stop 5 to 8 minutes or sometimes 10 minutes before the prescribed time. And anyway, you will be getting 5 minutes, we will be having interaction. That's for sure. Even if if we are not getting 10 minutes, at least for 5 to 8 minutes, we'll go for Q&A session. So at that time, I'll check your chat box. And please see that you are not unmuting in between. Okay. So I got a good definition from Rupali ma'am that it is flexibility, it is ability to adjust. Great. And Niharika ma'am has put resilience means the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties. That's simply amazing. Okay. So you all know, you have an idea what is resilience. So here we will be discussing more on finding out the factors which stay as an hindrance for resilience, and as a teacher, how we have to develop the resilience in students. Okay, so let us go with the slides now.
चांद की हत्या का पता चला तब किसी खास व्यक्ति से संबंधित एम्बुलेंस को ही क्यों बुलाया गया था? केवल सुशांत और तुषार की हत्या नहीं।
Vandana Kumari ma'am, I think. Okay, thank you. So now tell me, you already told what is resilience. This is the topic what we are going to discuss, developing resilience in students. Just 1 minute. I got some problem with my slide. I am not able to move. Okay, fine. Now, imagine we are going to start the session. Okay. Now, imagine you are going for a river raft. Okay, you are taking a raft trip down a river. Along with the slow water and shallows, your map shows that you will have to encounter unavoidable rapids and turns. What would you do to make sure that you can complete this journey or this adventurous journey? Or how you are going to handle the unexpected problems that may come in between? You can put it in the chat box. What will be your strategies? Number one, you would enlist the support of more experienced rafters. You may take the help of more experienced rafters. Number two, you may rely on the companionship of trusted friends. Number three, you may have more extra life jackets with you. Maintaining balance and teamwork, great. On fourth option, maybe you may go with a stronger raft, isn't it? Whatever it is, with the right things in your hand and with the right support system, what you are having, one thing is for sure. One thing is sure, that you will be able to face up the challenges, face the unexpected situations which may come, and you will be able to complete this journey. Yeah, sir. Yeah. Any problem? Okay.
No, ma'am, no problem.
Yeah. I heard somebody was calling me. Yeah. So after this river raft, what will happen? One, you may emerge yourself as a more courageous, confident rafter, isn't it? But our life does not come with a map always. Everyone, me and you, everybody will be having some sort of difficult situation, or have to face some sort of difficult situations, some sort of challenges, some sort of traumatic events may happen to us. Or otherwise, I can say each one of us will be having our own rapid twists and turns in the life. And we ourselves have to find out something or some support systems to rise out from these adverse situations. And actually, that is called resilience. So, what is resilience? Resilience is the ability to be happy. Resilience is the ability to become successful in spite of all the adverse situations what we are having. According to the psychologist, see, what can be the trauma? Please mute yourself. I am getting disturbance with the. Can you please mute yourself? So, what does psychologists define about resilience? They define resilience as the process of adapting well in the face of adversity, trauma, tragedy, threats, or significant sources of stress, such as family, relationship problems, serious health problems, or workplace and financial stresses. Somebody is coming. Who is Vinita Ghosh? Vinita Ghosh? Who's that? Can you please mute yourself, madam? Vinita ma'am, please mute. Now let us see how American Psychological Association, APA, what they tell about resiliency. They tell that resiliency is a personal journey. It is unique for each person. See, when this American Psychological Association, one of the executive member, Ron Palmer, he went for a data study in his school, and when he asked the children what are the difficulties or what are the things that are tough to bounce back from, A third standard child told that she or he finds it very difficult when her best friend moves away. Okay. A fourth grade child told that because of the exams, the hard test in the school is the most difficult situation for him. And what he told is that, yeah, both are right. So this is what we have to understand. My problem may not be your problem. So we cannot be judgmental by telling that, whoa, this is such a problem. This is such a great problem that your friend moved away, you will be getting another friend. No, it's not like that. Why? Because the traumatic situations what we fell into or the emotional imbalances what we get from different situations will be unique for each child or unique for each person. So let us have some insight. Let us see what Nelson Mandela talks about this. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. This is told by Nelson Mandela. Now let me take you all to a wonderful art form, kintsugi. Kintsugi is a Japanese art form which was there in Japanese 400 years back itself. It came from two Japanese words. Kin means gold and sugi means to join. And this is called the art of resilience. See, when a pot is broken, okay, the broken pieces of a pottery, it is being joined together with gold. So what happens? What happens when number of broken pieces, more the number of broken pieces are, more will be the amount of gold in the pot. So what happens by that? The value of the pot increases, enhances. This is what we should understand. This happens, see, kintsugi, apart from being a simple or an art form, it has got meaning much beyond that. Actually, the essence of this is that when we embrace flaws and imperfections, you can create an even stronger, more beautiful piece of art. So the broken pieces, when we join it, what happens? The scars will be different. It will be unique. One pot will not look like the same or like another pot, isn't it? Because the broken pieces are different. And sometimes more broken pieces are there, more will be the amount of gold in it. So when we care properly, when honored, the broken object assumes its past and becomes paradoxically more resilient, more beautiful, and more precious than before the shock. Isn't this wonderful? Now let us see what were the approaches we were having towards the children who used to misbehave. What are the usual methods which you used to follow? Corporal punishment was there, suspension, expulsion. Now CBSE has strictly mandatory told that no corporal punishments at all. Anger-free zones in the school. And we were creating in the school and as well as in the family, what was the method? Coercion. Coercion means creating an atmosphere of fear or threat. Okay, there is a theory by Patterson. I think you don't mind me having water in between. Why? Because after COVID, I'm always having throat issues. Okay, so please bear with me when I drink water in between. My throat is getting dry always now. So there is a theory coined by Patterson, and it's called coercion theory. According to him, a cycle happens. A cycle happens in a family. A family where there is an atmosphere of threat and fear. Please mute yourself, please. It's a request from my side. Ainul Haq, sir. So can you please mute yourself?
देखिए था इसका
Can you please mute? Okay. Just say that you are not touching on the microphone there, then it is fine. No. Okay, thank you. Okay, then, so what happens here? Actually, the child's misbehavior reinforces the parent to create an atmosphere of threat. Okay, and he was controlling or she was controlling the child by creating an atmosphere of fear or threat by beating or by scolding or by giving warnings. Okay, but later on, when the child reaches the adolescence age, this cycle will come back. What happens is that this child will associate himself with deviant peers, making the cycle happen. So the child's misbehavior was the reason for the coercive behavior of the parent, but it later on what it did, it made the child associate with deviant peer and making him more reactive towards the situation, and this created a cycle. So we have to be very careful. Why? Because we are not living in a joint family and all now. Parents are having complete responsibility of their words. So you have to be very much careful when you deal with children, when you deal with your own kids. Okay, you have to help them develop the resilient nature. Please mute Sarika ma'am. Sarika ma'am, please mute yourself.
सभी टीचर्स, सभी पार्टिसिपेंट्स, एक बार फिर रिक्वेस्ट है, काइंडली आप अपने इसको एश्योर करें कि आपका माइक्रोफोन म्यूट मतलब है, म्यूट मोड में है. अगर ऐसा नहीं होता है तो फिर एक्सपेल कर दिया जाएगा.
सर मेरा म्यूट नहीं हो पा.
Madam, you can mute. Yeah, now it is muted. Yeah. Now let us understand what are the goals. What are the goals? Somebody is again talking. Neha ma'am. Neha Sharma ma'am. Neha ma'am. See what happens, no? When I break like this, the flow will go and you will also not get whatever you are expecting. Neha ma'am, can you please mute? Or otherwise, can the coordinator, whoever is there, the host can mute them, no? Okay. If possible, you can mute them. So what are the goals which we have to consider? Understand the risk factors. So what do we mean by, I cannot mute, sir. Why? Because when I go there, no, I cannot see you all. Now I can see only my screen. Okay, because I show a full screen mode. If I change my slide small, I can see you all, but that won't be easy. That won't be legible for you all. Dheeraj Kumar, sir, please mute, sir. Please mute. So understanding the risk factors. What are the risk factors we have to take care? So what do we mean by risk factor? Risk factor means, see, this is resiliency. We can say that it is a personal characteristic of a person. The personal characteristics of a person, how much vulnerable they are towards the daily stresses. So risk factor means, it means the vulnerability factors towards the daily stressors. Whereas the resilient factor means the protective factors against the daily stresses. Okay. So we have to understand what are the risk factors. In the third slide, I told that when Ron Palmer, when he went into a school, he was okay when a child told that when my best friend moved from the school, I felt really bad. I could not bounce back. So resilience, when you understand resilience, you should have in your mind the term bouncing back. Okay, what will happen when you give a big tap on the basketball? It will bounce back, isn't it? More the tap, more the pressure of the tap, it will bounce back. with the bouncing will also be higher. So this is what you have to understand. A person who is having the resilient trait, the person who is having the resilient factor in himself, he will be able to, or she will be able to bounce back from any sort of adverse situations. But we have to understand what are the risk factors he or she is prone to. Little things that can irritate and distress people. That's what I told it. Sometimes small, silly things may be the reason for the distress. So we should not be judgmental in that case. If one of your colleague is coming and telling about a relationship problem or about a love failure, or it can be financial issue, or it can be a workplace harassment, or it can be something, some sort of what I can say is that the issues what is happening with the superior officer and the staff. Okay, so lots of factors will be there at the workplace, in your family, in your classroom, where we get disturbed. Okay, so it doesn't mean that we should not be shy to share that with somebody. So, being resilient doesn't mean that we have to be fixed and stoic and figuring out the things by our own. No, wherever possible, we can go for external support system. So understand the risk factors, develop effective programs to overcome the risk factors, enhance the protective factors that promote resiliency. Now, risk factors, if you ask to give an operational definition for risk factors, I can say is that when certain opportunities are minimized or denied, or when we are not able to access certain resources because of some sort of physical disabling, some sort of mental issues, some cultural, economical, financial, social, medical conditions, it is called at-risk factors. Something is obstructing the threats, the barriers which are there for achieving something. Okay. Now, risk factors should be analyzed. Risk factors should be analyzed in 4 domains. What are the 4 domains? Individual, as a person, what you are, your family, the school, and the community. Okay. Now, let us see. Before we go into details of the 4 domain factors, let us have some good news. Okay, be something which we can be more optimistic. This is a research paper published by Bernard in 1995. According to him, half to 2/3 of the children growing up in families with mentally ill, alcoholic, abusive, or criminally involved parents, or in poverty-stricken families, do overcome the odds and turn a life trajectory of risk into one that manifests resilience. So from this, what you all have to understand is that resiliency is not a fixed trait. Okay, we have an innate capacity. Each and every individual have an innate capacity to be resilient. Otherwise, see, when somebody, some death happens in our family, are we all, what I can say, going into such a committing suicide like that with them? No, no. We will be having some sort of issues for some time, but whatever the situations are there, we will be overcoming that. So everybody have that. It will be very, okay, that's all. Okay, so this already I told resilience isn't a fixed trait. So by inculcating or by having the adaptability, by having a flexible nature, by enhancing your perseverance, by having a physically fit body or mentally and physically fit.
Hello.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir?
Excuse me, ma'am. Can you elaborate
Yeah.
the previous topic again? Can you elaborate the previous topic again? My network is not working proper, so I can't listen your explanation. Please repeat the previous topic, ma'am.
This is not the
Which
process,
one?
sir. Whatever problem you are having, you must do it in chat box.
Sir, I
Okay,
can
sir. Sorry for that, sir.
help you.
Use your microphone, please. Who are the participants, ma'am?
Sudhir sir,
Sir.
sorry for that. I have no idea about that, so sorry, sir.
Sir, you must have idea.
Whatever problems you are having, whatever doubts you are having, I am clearing.
All these things. So any participant is allowed to use their microphone, please.
I will be explaining at the end of the session. Don't worry, okay? You note it down what all doubts you are having. I can explain that to you.
Didi.
Ranjini, ma'am, please mute your microphone. Okay. So what you have to understand is that by the flexibility, by the adaptability, by the perseverance, by good communication skill, by enhancing your self-esteem, by having a sense of humor, by regulating your temperament, by having self-awareness, by creating social cohesion, we can tap into resilience by changing certain thoughts and behaviors. See, changing the thoughts and behaviors means all these things are perceptions, isn't it? See, the impact of a traumatic event, the problems what we are facing, the happiness what we are having, the mindset what we are having, these all are perceptions. It depends upon your perception. So your thought process is important there. You can be happy. See, there is even a thought. I have read a phrase that you can laugh until you learn to cry, or otherwise you can change it into you will be crying until you learn to laugh. Okay, so these are thought processes what are happening in the mindset of a child or in the mindset of an adult. So when you are trained to control your thoughts and to regulate your behavior, you are tapping yourself into the resilient behavior. And according to Dr. Sood is a member of Everyday Health Wellness Advisory Board. According to him, resilience can be defined in 5 principles: gratitude, compassion, acceptance, meaning, and forgiveness. These all are life skills which can be stretched. The skills, every skill can be enhanced, stretched to an optimum level. Okay. Now, how a family should be. See, as I told that we are living in a nuclear family now. So try to extend the family network as much as possible. Let the children have good relationship with all your family members. So what is the advantage of that? So if some crisis happens, if some adverse situations happen, you can adopt the strategy of family advocacy. Family advocacy means some senior members or some elder members or somebody else who are self-sufficient, who are proficient, can act as contributors. Contributors means not financial contributor, I am telling. Will be contributing in different way as advisors, as care, as concern, as whatever areas, as training people, teaching them. So they will act as a advisory board or an advisory system to the members who are in need. So for that, you have to build up good relationships with your family members. What I can say is don't be too self-centered. That's a one word explanation I can give for this. Okay, responsibility among all the members. Make each and every team family member be aware that he is important, he is valued, and he should shoulder the responsibility. And parenting is such a big responsibility on your shoulders. Why? Because that's what I told. It's not like the what I can say is that now most of the houses we are not even having grandparents, isn't it? So the entire responsibility is shouldered by the parents. So effective parenting monitoring should happen there. Create an atmosphere of respect, love, care, concern, okay, accountability should be there, mutual trust should be there, that it should be candid, it should be flexible, and the child should be able to communicate with the parents. If they do some mistakes, if they do some silly things, always have quality time with your children. It doesn't mean that from 9 to 3 I'm sitting with my child. No, that doesn't matter at all. If you are sitting for 1 hour, 2 hours, have quality time, play with them, talk with them, do some sort of start a new hobby with them, understand them, go into their issues, their problems, their aspirations, understand it, guide them. Okay. Now, before we go and understand the third domain, what is a school, let us see what Rutter and Quinton has told in 1984 in a paper. These all are quotations from research papers. A good school experience can compensate to some degree for a home environment replete with risk. Poor children, they lost this for last 2 years. Last 2 years, you just imagine a child is having a very bad family environment. Most of the time, if his parents are shouting or if their parents are fighting with each other, this 2 years, what will be the sufferings undergone by the child? And school was another home. It was another, what I can say, it was a second home for most of the children, where they will be cared for. Priyanka ma'am, please mute yourself. Priyanka ma'am, please mute. Priyanka ma'am, can you please mute yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this had happened during the pandemic situations. The children who are sitting in front of you all now, after the pandemic, take it from me, lots of changes have happened to them mentally, emotionally, physically, in their academical area. Lots of gaps you can analyze. So what should the school do? The school should provide a positive and safe learning environment. How can we provide a safe environment to a child? We see that lots of ads, most of the schools will be telling that we provide a safe environment. So what does this safe means? Safe means it is not only physically safe, it means mentally safe, psychologically safe. That's why CBSE has issued a circular, anger-free zones in the school. As a pragmatic educator, we all know that at times, sometimes a little bit of what I can say is that we have to show a different face sometimes when it is needed. But it is not by shattering the child psychologically. Okay, if a teacher, she understand that the teacher is carrying them a lot, definitely, even when our voice changes, when the tone changes itself, they will understand. So you as an educator should see that you are providing safe, psychologically, emotionally, physically safe environment to the children. Teach life skills. This is very important. We teach all the skills, isn't it? Vocational skills, we will be teaching them the linguistic skills, we will be writing skills, whatever the sports skills, the dancing skills, but sometimes we forget to teach them life skills. This is a challenge from my side. You go into the classroom tomorrow and you ask the children to write a timetable, to create a timetable of their studies, their day-to-day activities, or ask them to plan for 2 years. See, the best child, the gifted child, even the gifted child will find difficult for that. So this is an area called executive functions. This is something I used to feel as a trainer, as a resource person. I feel that we have to study more on the executive functions, life skills, enhancing the life skills. This is most important because now we are living in the world of EQ, understanding the EQ of a person. When you walk into a corporate field or into a corporate institution for a job, they will be, apart from the IQ, they will be checking the EQ, SQ, social quotient, and the emotional quotient, and that is more important now than IQ. See, there is a quote from Warren Buffett, the famous entrepreneur. He has told that we have to hire people with three characteristics, three features. One is intelligence, of course. Second one is energy. Third one is integrity. And you can compromise when a person is not that intelligent, but you should never ever recruit somebody who is not having energy. And even if if somebody is having less energy, you can compromise to an extent, but you should never ever ever take a person who is not having integrity. So integrity is something which should be inculcated from the school system itself. Okay, so what do we mean by executive functions? It means goal setting, planning, solving certain situations. Okay, problem solving. So what can you do as a teacher? You give them situational analysis, case studies. This happened. When this happens, what will you do? When sometimes when you and your mom and your father is there in your house, suddenly the house, some gas is leaked from your house, something accident happens, what you will do? Your one case study. Another case study, what you can do, this particular friend of yours is having this problem. You want to help him. What will be your method of helping him? What do you want to be after 2 years? What are your aspirations? How you are planning your life? What is your focus? Okay. So the child, when he pass out from your school, be whether let it be the secondary or let it be the senior secondary, he or she should know the difference between his true self and his aspirational self. What am I now and what I want to be after 1 year, 2 year, 5 years, or let it be 10 years. So this is something which we have to focus. The main focus area of the educators, I will say that it should be in executing, enhancing the executive functions. I have seen one school in Chandigarh. I have visited there once in Chandigarh, and I used to check out their Facebook. And I was so happy to see that the activities, what is been given in KG1 and KG2 and all is, the household activities what the child has to do, what brushing, polishing his shoes, KG1 and 2, how they can, what I can say is that fold their own clothes, how they can tie their own hair, how they can help in small things, their parents. So instead of giving something so hypothetical activities, why don't we go for by enhancing? Why can't we enhance these skills of the children, what they need in day-to-day life? And being in sixth and when they come to middle school or when they come to higher classes, we will complain that the parent will come and complain that not good for anything. He doesn't know anything. He cannot. He won't be even. He won't fold his bed sheet. He will not take his even the dishes of his. He will not make his own bed. So are we teaching these things in our school? No, we are not. We give them big science fairs to do, which is not at all there in the textbook. And the child will go into the YouTube, mug up with some sort of ideas. They will come out and they will say that. And we clap and we say, no, what an innovative idea. Is that any innovative idea? They took it from somewhere else. They copied it. That's all. So I have decided from this year, I am conducting a science fair on project on this March 3rd, and it clearly gave a circular that children are supposed to do only take the content only from the textbook or what they have learned in this academic year. Let them go for any sort of variations, but they have to take something which is being taught or which they have dealt with, age appropriate content. Okay. Set clear boundaries. Tell your children what to do and what not to do, how they have to behave. What are the social norms? What are the group norms? What are the classroom norms? See, when we started the class, Dr. Sudhir was telling us these are the norms, these are the decorums which you have to follow. So it created an impact. We are trying to obey the rules and regulations. This is needed in the classroom also. This is needed in the classroom also. We have to clearly tell to the children what they are supposed to do. Okay. And what will be the consequences if they go for any sort of behavioral issues. Teach them, counsel them, make them understand. Okay. Set high, achievable academic and social expectations. I would like to tell on this because we all, when you all write the lesson plan, you will write desirable outcomes. This is the objective, this will be the outcome. But my question is the outcome same for all the children? Never. Never ever it can be the same for all the children. For example, you are calling, let it be student number, roll number 5. Student roll number 10. Roll number 5 used to get only 50% marks in mathematics. But he is good in all the other subjects. He will used to get 80-85% in all the other subjects. And student number 10, he's an excellent learner, academic wise, I'm telling. He used to get between 95 and 100 in almost all the subjects. We are calling these two children, the class teacher, and telling that, see, I have high expectations on you both. You have to score aggregate. The total percentage should be from 90 to 100% or above 95%. You both should get for the board examination. So student number 10 is quite okay with that. It is something which is attainable for him. It is realistic for him. He will say that, yes, ma'am, I will try. The other boy, he will say, yes, ma'am, I will try. But will he be able to? Because that is the capacity. That is the capacity of the child. Children are different. So his logical power is somewhat lesser compared to him. And when we give by using lots of strategies, you can enhance that to an optimum level. But that will not be his, what I can say is that his dominant area. It will not be his dominant intelligence. So what are we doing there? We are telling that we are having huge expectations on the children, and at the same time, we are giving a stress to the other child. It is a bad stress to the second child, to the first child, whereas it is a stress or it is a good stress to the child who's scoring 95% or 90% already. The other boy, poor boy, however he tries, he will be able to get only maximum up to 85 to 90% in this. Okay. Provide respect and support. What do we mean by provide respect and support? While facilitating academic and social success. So when we are celebrating any sort of accolades, any sort of achievements, you have to see that nobody is cornered, nobody is ignored, nobody should feel low. Okay, give mutual respect to each and every person. I used to say that the entire school system should work in two areas. If you had attended the inclusive education classroom, you might understand that it is a two-tier system which is happening in the entire campus. That means we are focusing on the academics. At the same time, we are focusing on the behavioral area. Okay, so this both are interconnected. It cannot stand in an isolated bit, or it cannot stand alone. We cannot think in one term only. In a singular tone, you cannot think. So academic and behavioral area should be considered, create an atmosphere of respect and support and trust based on accountability, based on the operational agreement you are having, based on the individual objective as well as the institutional objectives. Provide meaningful participation. Social cohesion is very much important. So if you have not started any activities now after the pandemic, start it now without wasting any day. Why? Because let the children enjoy. Let the children have some sort of collaborative activities. Okay, provide meaning. Where all you can give that. You can create a bulletin board, a common bulletin board. Let all the children come and stick something on that. Classroom bulletin boards you can have. You can have lots of small cooperative learning methods you can have. PBL classrooms you can set. So some sort of dances, music, whatever is possible in your campus, and what according what to the time, whatever it permits, you should do that. Okay. Now community. What is the role of community? Swami has told, I come from a Satya, I'm a devotee of Satya Sai Baba. So let me take a quote what he has told. Swami has told that bring community to your school. It is okay if your children are not ready to go out into the community, you bring the community to the school. So as a facilitator, as a pedagogical leader, each and every teacher is a leader, pedagogical leader. It is not only the principals who are pedagogical leaders. Each of us are having responsibility. So as true educators, we are the first person or the main person who is creating a, what I can say is a relationship with the community. The initial connection with the community should be done by the teachers. So how can you do that? You can go for external support system. If you can get the help of doctors, medical health providers, or what I can say is that mental health providers, nurses, local authorities, community justice centers, NGOs, collaborate with them. Okay, bring them to your school and try to use their professional qualification, their professionalism to enhance resilient factors. Okay. After school programs you can have. In school programs you can have, after school programs you can have. You can give a peer to ask to give peer support to the children. Okay, buddy support, buddy program. Even if you want a child whom you feel is having some sort of resilient issues. Okay, he is going through some adverse situation. You can give the companionship of another child who is in other class, no problem. So this child will sit and talk to him or her. You have to take other matters also into consideration as practical educators. You have to give a good company also. Okay, avoid bad company, be in good company. That is also important. So when you give somebody, he or she should be a mentor. So what happens here? You are changing two lives. The child who is given the responsibility of the mentor, yeah, you are enhancing the leadership skill of the child. You are enhancing him to take up the responsibility. The responsibility nature is being enhanced. Okay, and you are helping the child who is suffering, because that particular child who is facing any sort of traumatic situation may not like to communicate or may not like to open up with a teacher sometimes, but he or she will communicate in more transparent way. Open communication can happen with a child of their own age or some little bit elder one or something like that. Okay, they can easily understand the problems. And employment opportunities, if possible, you can give. Okay, if you feel that this particular child is having little sort of mental disorders are there, the child will not be able to cope up with that. What we can, the school themselves can create some sort of employment opportunities. I heard my fellow principal once telling that when I was talking about the inclusive culture, what she told me is that there is a hotel in Calicut. They give jobs for all deaf and dumb people. So that should be considered. Okay, supervised recreation. That's what I told. Go for lots of activities, especially now. 1 year is crucial. Why? Because the children have faced lots of issues. They are sitting in front of you with lots of issues. So give them opportunities, give them lots of recreative moments so that they can cherish it. Okay. Volunteer activities. I used to say that volunteers can be the key interlocutors in humanitarian crisis. Why do we say that volunteers are interlocutors? Why? Because what happened during the flood in Kerala, flood happened. Isn't it? I have my parents. What happened? My screen went off.
इनकी आवाज आ रही है मैम?
You can hear me, no? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Can you see my screen? My screen is visible, no? Yeah, okay. Thank you. So what happens? I'm telling about volunteer activities. Why? Because we may feel that we are CBSE schools, we are refined, we are so sophisticated. Why should we take the help of volunteers? What is the need of that? See, what happened when a flood happened here, especially in Kerala? I myself, being the principal of a CBSE school, I'm a little bit, what I can say, well-known person here. But still, what I did is that I have my parents here who are aged, and there was lots of water in front of my house. Two people came telling, who the rescue forces came to, not that too, not any uniform service people, local people was taking care of the people of this area. We were asked to move to some refugee areas and all here. I had sent my parents with them, okay, believing in them, trusting them, because we understood that there is a common goal, a common objective is there. So we trusted them. So that's what I told. Volunteership means it is in every crisis. Take every crisis. What happened during the pandemic? Is it only the medical officers or the nurses and all who are doing services? Here itself, the body of the people were buried by the local people and all who were acting as volunteers. No, even the family members were not ready to attend their funeral. They did the last rites. They did the funeral service for all those people who had died because of COVID and all. So this we have to understand. So we cannot stand alone apart from the community. The CBSE children cannot be there. What I can say is that being somebody from we can say upper class or highly educated. No, they should be taught to mix with the community in a proper way. And let us go for some research analysis. The research validates that we are all born with an innate capacity for resilience by which we are able to develop the responsive qualities that foster resilience. I have talked about this. So as a teacher, as an educator, there are three areas which you have to take care. One is caring relationship. Second one is high expectations. And third one, opportunities for participations. These are the three areas you have to take care in your classroom. How can you give a caring relationship? You being the most frequently contacted person by a student, you have to convey compassion, an atmosphere of compassion, an attitude of compassion, empathy, understanding, create respect, trustful nature. Okay, have sincere interest in the child. Be passionate educators. That's why you all are here, being passionate. Okay, celebrating the traditions. It is very much important. Festivals, rituals, traditions, values, all these things should be inculcated. And it is not something against what we call now modernism. Okay, these children should be taught to understand what is the culture, what is the heritage of India. Provide one-to-one time. What do we mean by that? One-to-one individual attention. If needed, go for a comprehensive, individual comprehensive plan. So what you have to do, you have to focus on the individual student. You have to understand the interest of the child. Go for SWOT analysis. Understand what are the experience my child is having. What are the accommodations she is having. What all ideas, what all assimilations are needed. What are the strength of my children? What are the weakness? What are their interests? Okay, what are their barriers? And then work on it. Have necessary materials for success. Eliminate the atmosphere of fear or threat. And the most important thing for that is that participation. Participation in curriculum planning. That's what I told. We cannot make all the children be part of the curriculum planning. That may not be possible. But as a practical teacher, you try to find out how you can involve the children in it. So this will help you to enhance the executive functional nature of the child. Okay. Curriculum planning. Cross-age tutoring. What do we mean by cross-age tutoring? The children of the elder class is given the charge of the children of smaller class, and they can teach, buddy support. And let the children involved in all sort of school policies and rules. And there are 7 resiliency traits what you have to consider. You have to understand what is the language of resilience. Teach insight or inculcate insight in the mindset of your child. What do we mean by insight? Insight means the children should have the responsibility to accept their mistakes. Okay, to understand, to ask big questions to them, to be self-aware. The children should be made independent. Independent does not mean that we are making them selfish. Interdependent to make them later independent. Okay, so that when they become independent, they will be able to formulate the standards for themselves or to plan for themselves. Okay, good relationship with the children wherever possible. Go for knowing the people, understanding the people is very important. Wherever they can possible, enhance the social cohesion. Okay, enhance the creativity nature. There is a talk of Sir Ken Robinson. Schools kill creativity. Schools will kill creativity. You have to hear it. So don't be a school that kills the creativity. Don't be a teacher that kills the creativity of the child. But at the same time, use the innovative strategies and all to enhance the creative capacity of the child. So then only we can say that we are checking up, or we are enhancing, or we are concentrating, focusing on developing the 21st century skills of the child. This is important part of 21st century skill. Make the children take initiative. Ask them to take charge. Ask them to take the responsibility. Give them situations. Let them solve the problems. Make them jovial. Okay. Jovial means this is good. We have to let us inculcate humor sense. Be a teacher. I used to say that the teacher should know stand-up comedy also sometimes. Okay. So what does it mean that it doesn't mean that they have to take their life not in a serious manner. I didn't mean that. Okay. They have to laugh at their situations. Sometimes it is good to laugh at themselves, laugh at ourselves, laugh at the what the weaknesses what we are having. Okay, the problems what we are having. It is very important sometimes to laugh at ourselves, the situations what we faced. So that should be taught. Jovial nature, you all should have that. Lots of problem may happen. Workplace issues will be there, lots of stress will be there, but once in a while we should laugh. I had faced all these things. I bounced back. Okay. Morality, I told it is good to bounce back. It is good that we may bounce back. We have the innate capacity. But bouncing back should not happen by stabbing on others. Bouncing back should not happen on the expense of others. Rather, it should be on the service of others. At the service of others. Sorry. Okay, so we should see that we have the value system, we have the morality, we have the ethics, that when we are trying to bounce back, we are not playing a foul game there. Okay, in the journey to be somebody, to finish first, we should not push or do a foul play, or we should not stamp on others when we are walking our uh, path of life. So what is the language tool you should have? Go into the class, ask your children, ask yourself what I am, what are my strengths, what are my internal sources, what all things I have. Then what I have with me, do I have any external support system? What I can to build up resiliency, what all possible things I can do. So what are the three areas you have to have in your mind? One is what I am, what I have, what I can. Go to the class tomorrow itself. Ask your children what you are right, what I am. So the children will write, we are having 9th class education. We are so and so. I am studying in the school. Good. Let them have a self-awareness of that. Ask them what you have. You have wonderful teachers here. You are having such an infrastructure here. You have good parents here. You have a good support system here. You can take the help of them and tell them. And if you find that if there is any gap, tell them what they can. Okay. And my dear friends, you should have the mindset of mindfulness. What do we mean by mindfulness? Mindfulness is nothing but self-awareness, understanding the situation through what we are going right now. Okay, so there is a stimulus and there is a response. Now, mindfulness is nothing but pausing in between the stimulus and the response, affirmation between the stimulus and response. So stop. Mindfulness, hardiness, positive mindset. I used to tell that these all are synonyms of resiliency. So resiliency means this is the takeaway what you should have. Stop. Stop 3 or 4 times a day whenever you feel. Whatever you are doing, stop that for a while. Take a deep breath. Observe whether you are doing the things properly. Then proceed. Usually there is a study which I have read. When we are continuously working, beta waves will only be produced by the brain. Beta waves will help you to do that particular work, complete that particular work at a time. But when you stop for a while, only alpha waves will come out. Alpha waves are the waves which brings out creativity, innovations and all. Okay, so you should have your own time to think also. So my dear friends, stop for a while. Always ask, what am I interested in now? What am I doing to experience more of this or learn more about it? How is that working? What is my plan to keep moving ahead in future? Ask yourself. And we know that life is as if walking on a string. You should properly balance. Equilibrium is needed. When you balance, you may fall. Okay, but stand up and then run. So there are certain things which you cannot change. Don't focus on that. In my life and your life, there are certain things we cannot change. See, my child is having 50% mental retardation. However, I cry. Will that change? No, that is what God has given me, isn't it? I have to take up that destiny. What I can do is that I can find out what are strategies I can adopt, what are things I can do for him so that I can equip him to live in a world where I am not there. Okay, so you concentrate on something which you can change or which you have control. Everything changes and ends. Things do not always go according to plan. Life is not always fair. Pain is part of life. People are not loving and loyal at all the time. Okay. Focus on what is there in your control. So when I summarize, I say that resilience is all about positive self-concept and self-esteem. And let me take this prayer of Maria Montessori, who had formulated lots of methodologies for the smaller classes, KG classes. Help us. This is the prayer of a teacher. Help us, O God, to enter into the secret of childhood so that we may know, love, and serve the child in accordance with the laws of thy justice and following thy holy will. Let the God Almighty help you all to go into the secret of each child and help them to help you all to formulate the strategies to empower them. Don't clip their wings, rather give the power to their wings to fly. Okay, so our duty is to empower. Thank you all. By this, I would like to end my session.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much, sir. I think
Nice
I took, I think I took 6 minutes more. In between, some interruptions happened, so that's
Yeah,
why
yeah.
I got flow in. That's why.
Yeah, yeah,
Sorry
ma'am.
for
Yeah, ma'am.
that.
From
Okay.
next time, we will try not to repeat such kind of things, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much. And it was so interactive. I was getting some comments and all, and I felt so happy and so much what I blessed to be here with you all. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Bye.
Can I leave the session? I will. Anybody wants to ask me anything? Somebody was. I can sit for 2-3 minutes if you are having any doubts. No problem. Okay. So I think it is okay for. You got some idea, and I pray to God that you will be implementing these in your classroom. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Take care.
Thank you, ma'am. चंदन जी
जी सर।
हाँ, वो
सुधीर
रिकॉर्डिंग
सर,
ऑफ कर दीजिए।
आप ऑनलाइन ही अभी रहेंगे? कुछ आज मैम के तरफ से डायरेक्ट व्हाट्सएप पर भी आया था कि बहुत सारे टीचर्स हमारे जो हैं वो लेट से आते हैं, उनके लिए रिगार्डिंग उनका चैट आया और बीच बीच में लगातार कुछ डिस्टरबेंस हो रहा था। लोग बातचीत कर रहे थे। कुछ गाइडलाइंस है वो अपने तरफ से आप दे दें, ज्यादा बेहतर होगा।
जरूर जरूर। I would like to request all the participants on this platform